Greetings, I'm Mark, coming to you from Baker's Green Acres here in lovely Marion, Michigan. Well, the purpose of this briefing is to let you know that we are 1 week out from our court case. Yes, that's right, our court case will be held next Monday, the 15th of October, in Marquette, which is in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. That'll be at the county courthouse at 10 o'clock in the morning, and everybody is welcome to come. That's going to be a public affair. Our lawyers are very confident at this point, and so are we. This court case is to decide whether this declaratory ruling that the DNR came out with is viable per the Constitution. What a concept. My personal feeling on that, as I've gone through this entire thing, I've come to the conclusion that we shouldn't even be here. For several reasons. The first one is the Department of Natural Resources is a regulatory agency. They don't make laws. That's not their function in life. Their function is to regulate laws that our lawmakers make. Legislators are people that we elect to go to the state capitol and make laws that benefit the people who elect them to go there, the citizenry. Regulatory agencies are not supposed to make laws. That would be like the Michigan State Police deciding that they want to change the speed limit to 45 miles an hour and then doing it. You know, we would all agree that that would be outrageous. But that's in effect what the Michigan Department of Natural Resources done. However, they work for the governor. The governor of the state of Michigan, and that is Governor Rick Snyder, Republican from Michigan, his duty is to make sure that the things that happen, especially the agencies that work directly underneath him, are doing things that are in the best interests of the general populace of the state. And the fact that Governor Snyder has done nothing about this and let something that is this ridiculous and this foul get to the point where you have to take up precious court time, you know, with a judge and lawyers, and the amount of money that the state is spending on this, and the amount of money that we have had to spend to employ our lawyers and various other support personnel. This is ridiculous, and the governor should have looked at this, sent it to his lawyers and said, look at this and tell me if this squares with the Constitution. It would come back, no, it does not square with the Constitution, not in any way, shape, or form. You know, we've been through this several times, but the Constitution states that if a person is to be incarcerated or brought up on felony charges, then the laws that they have violated have to be very specific so that you can't commit a federal crime or a felony and you didn't know you did it. But in this case, most of the people in the state of Michigan that have pigs in their backyard are felons, according to this. Now, I know that many of you have called the DNR and spoken to their people that answer the phone, and they'll tell you, oh, no, this isn't about 4-H pigs. Well, according to the declaratory ruling, if your pig has a straight tail or a curly tail, that's an illegal pig, because this states very clearly that one or more of these characteristics are enough to qualify your pig as feral, and they've stated feral pigs are illegal. So I know they say one thing, but the law says another. And unfortunately, this is the law of the land, because the way they did it is they added a species to the invasive species order. And as I said before, the invasive species order is a good law because it keeps our environment protected from invasive species, from truly invasive species. A farm pig is not an invasive species, or a swine, period, is not an invasive species. And really, let's get down to brass tacks here. Bottom line, the Michigan Department of Natural Resources has stated that there are 5,000 to 8,000 feral pigs that are running the countryside in the state of Michigan. 5,000 to 8,000. I've yet to come across anybody that's actually seen one. And the Department of Natural Resources is not providing us with any data that they've supposedly collected that there are any. Except some loose numbers where they say that 42 of them were shot last year during the regular hunting season. Okay, so they still don't have any proof that we actually have a problem. This is what is known as the Hegelian principle. An entity like Department of Natural Resources is charged with getting rid of pigs or farm animals that are out on dirt. Some entities want all animals to be in enclosures, on concrete, under a roof, in what they call CAFOs, concentrated animal feeding operations. So the DNR comes up with a problem, and the problem is feral swine. We've got this terrible problem. You know, they're eating baby deer. They're scaring children. They're tearing up cropland. And on the other hand, they give you the fix to that, and the fix is, well, I know what we'll do. We'll get rid of all pigs that are not in confinement operations, because after all, the declaratory ruling clearly states that if a pig is in a confinement operation, it's okay, because they can't get away. All right. Well, anyway, it's just ridiculous what they're doing. But anyway, we go to court next Monday. During that court case, it'll be determined whether or not the declaratory ruling is constitutional. It is not. It is not. And this should have been caught at the gubernatorial level. Why it wasn't, we don't know. But I'm almost positively sure that there is some dereliction of duty here. The governor has a duty to shepherd the people of this state and to keep them from any undue hardship due to, overstepping of government agencies. He should have slapped these boys down a long time ago, and he did not. So I believe that he is derelict in his duties. And that's a big claim. Those charges are very serious. If we win this case and it is deemed unconstitutional, there's a lot of people that are going to say, why did you have to go to court to find that out? Why do you have to go to court to find that out? Why did you have to spend all this money, all the taxpayer money, all our money? Poor, very poor. Okay, some neat things that have happened. I guess I told you guys that we did all of our depositions, and there was a gag order put on the depositions, so I could not make those public to you. After the court case, I will be able to make those public. I don't know if they'll be of a whole lot of interest, but we'll probably just put together a montage of the pertinent parts of it, or the more entertaining parts of it, and make those available to you. One of the other things that happened that was real interesting is we had a very nice article that went out on NPR. I'm told there's another piece coming out this week that's supposed to be a little bit longer and more conclusive on the subject. We'll see. I don't think it's going to make a whole lot of difference, but it should be entertaining. But that NPR article that came out about a month ago led to a bunch of other people calling us. One was ABC. We didn't take that one, though. I didn't think Wife Swap was a good place to, to air this, so I kind of let that one go. The other one that was real interesting was National Geographic. They were more interested in the process of how we farm. After all, that's why we're here, is because we farm beef, pork, chicken, produce, and a lot of other things that we do. So they weren't really interested in all the drama involved, so we let that one go too. Last one was the Colbert Report, and we don't have television here, we don't get it, but so I didn't really know who Stephen Colbert was, but I researched a little bit, and in my final analysis, it seemed like a really good outlet, national outlet, because after all, most of the other, with the exception of ABC and the Wife Swap, the other major networks are ignoring this, and it is definitely not like they're not hearing about it. They're just totally ignoring it. I wonder why. But after Colbert breaks it, I don't think they're going to be able to ignore it anymore. Not that it makes any difference. Not that it makes any difference. This issue is what it is, and we really don't need the major media to help us to push this through. We're not giving up. We're not giving up, and we're not done. A victory here is not the end of the road. What has happened here is wrong. It is un-American, and it is unjust, and it must be righted, and it will be. And for us to look to government to make this right is a big mistake, because government is what let this happen in the first place. There are individuals in the Michigan state government that are dedicated, hardworking, and decent individuals. There are. I've met them, shook their hands. It was a pretty long list, but there are some that are on the take. Definitely on the take, and scumbags of the worst order. They need to be relieved of duty, and the money that they get for a paycheck needs to be given to decent people. There is no left or right on this, and I would want to remind you of that. There is no left or right. The political parties have let us down terribly in the past few years. There is no left or right. There is either up or down. This is either just or unjust. This is either for the betterment of our society or for the detriment of it. Okay, the Colbert Report. They were out 2 weeks ago. Film crew, a couple of producers, and it went really very well. I don't know if that's going to come out before the court date. Doesn't really matter, but it's going to bring serious attention to this. And when we win this, things will happen quickly. There'll be a domino effect of other policies like this that are not truly laws that will melt like icicles in July. And we will help that happen. We'll fan those flames when we can. Other than that, things are going good here at the farm. We're closing things down a little bit. I have no complaints. We are upside down greatly on the money situation, to pay our lawyers and lobbyists and support personnel. We are in pretty good need of money right now, probably worse than we ever have been. The end of the tunnel is near. I would like to finish this up and not be in such debt that I wished I didn't do it. But I'm willing to do that if I have to. But on the other hand, if there are people out there that can make sizable donations, we would welcome that, and we would be greatly appreciative of that. I would thank you from the bottom of my heart. Okay, a couple of interesting things that I wanted to bring up. The last time we went to court with the DNR, that was up in Sheboygan. That was the Ron McKendrick trial, the state brought about 17 members of the state. They took up almost the entire half of the courtroom. We did not see them in the lobby. They actually came in through the judge's chambers. So an interesting point, and you can see this if you go to bakersgreenacres.com and look at the videos. There's a video that Kyle Miron just made a short time ago. It's called Hogwash and American Pigtail. And if you look at that, there's a courtroom scene. Notice the attire of the people from the state. Every last one of them, and I don't mean the majority of them, I mean every one of them is wearing black. I just found that odd, because the people that were there representing the state weren't there because they woke up the morning and said, hey, I think I'll go to this this trial up in Sheboygan. They were assigned there. There are people that are under orders. People who work for the DNR, they are told what to do and when to do it. Of the 17 that were there from the DNR, we counted 6 that were carrying weapons in the courtroom. All right. When I showed up at the courthouse, I had to go through the only entrance that was not blocked off. I assumed there must be some high-profile trial going on, and maybe it was a murder or a rapist or a terrorist or something like that. I had to go through a metal detector. I thought that was kind of strange. I didn't think it was for me. You know, I'm just a farmer, and this is just about feral swine, right? Just about feral swine. So I was disarmed going into that courthouse. But the DNR people were hyper-armed. There was so many guns in there. There were 4 members of the Michigan State Police, which I have no problem with state police. Actually, the state police in Michigan, I think, are some of the sharpest individuals that I see behind the wheel of a police car across the United States. They actually have a lot of pride, and I believe there's a constitutional aspect of that organization that I really admire. So I have no problem with the state police. Sheriff's departments, they vary from county to county. The county that I live in, that's a little ridiculous, but up there in Sheboygan, they were pretty sharp individuals. There were 4 of them there constantly. One of them actually had a bomb dog, which I thought was pretty neat, and they came over and sniffed us down, us farmers. Again, I thought this has nothing to do with me. And then there was these other individuals there. There was 5 of them that I counted, and 2 of them can be seen in that video. But they looked a little out of place for a small town like Sheboygan. One of them had a really long goatee down to about here, just a goatee, no beard or anything. Had a few tattoos on his neck, all pierced up and kind of angry looking. But I noticed he had a gun under his coat. I just happened to notice that, and he stood around in the lobby, didn't appear to be going any place or doing anything, just kind of stood there like this and refused to look me in the eye. I don't know why. So I looked for people that he was talking with, and there was 5 of them. Yeah, and they were all kind of greasy looking, you know, 25-ish, and one of them looked like he might have been a farmer. Actually, I walked up to him and I asked him, you know, what his reason for being here was, and he told me, oh, he's just out of work and decided to come up and sit in on the trial. Thought it would be fun. I said, I found that, I looked at him and I told him, I find that interesting that you would come here and you're an out of work guy and they let you come in here with a gun. And he just stared at me. And I said, who do you work for? This was in the lobby at one of our breaks during the trial. He refused to tell me who he worked for. I knew he wasn't there to guard my body, because he would have had to inform me that he was doing that. So I would have to assume that he was there to guard the people from the DNR against us. So there was 4 farmers there. There was 1 lobbyist and 1 attorney, and they had to bring all those weapons in and all those personnel. Just found it interesting. I guess that's the way it works in our country now. But what will be even more interesting will be what happens at this trial, because the same four farmers are going to be there, the same lobbyist will be there, and the same attorney will be there. Now I wonder if they'll have the same level of vigilance, you know, and the same number of law enforcement individuals there for us again this time. All right, well, that's about all I have. Besides some contempt for the people that have put us through this. We're American citizens. We shouldn't have to go put up with this. It's not like we're, you know, running guns or bringing drugs in the country or anything like that. We're farmers. I would like people out there to understand and remember that it is your right, and it is your right that is given to you by your Creator to farm, all right? To create proteins and create carbohydrates for you to eat, for you to live. And our Constitution protects that. You have that right. And anybody that wants to take that away from you is lawless, and they need to be brought to justice. So anywho, I'm feeling good, feeling pretty ganky about going to court and putting a whooping on these bad boys, and I hope a lot of you guys can come, and we will update you very quickly after the court case. I don't think we'll know that day, but we should know within a week, win, lose, or draw. Thanks for listening, and remember, anyone can